Unpack your knives and stay. Yes, stay. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Top Chef RHAPup. I'm Haley Strong, and I am joined by, I don't know, I'm just going to say it, a whole sausage fest today. Curt Clark, welcome.
I am 25% Polish, so kielbasa.
Oh, no. Oh my god.
What? There was literally no pun in there. I'm like, I am 25% Polish.
Hi, LaTonya.
Hi.
Are you sick of us already? We're 40 seconds into the podcast.
It's been a really interesting week of reality TV. I'm glad that I got this episode of Top Chef, I will say, after the episode of Survivor that we got this week.
What a lead in. And we're not alone today. No. We are joined by somebody from the aforementioned Survivor. Owen Knight, welcome. Welcome to your inaugural performance on the Top Chef RHAPup. We will not vote you out.
Yeah, it's nice to feel safe in a reality space here. There's no pre-gaming here for Top Chef 22 or anything like that.
You just weren't on the thread.
Oh, I've been left out of another group chat. Oh, God.
You don't even have to pretend to like Applebee's here.
Oh, my gosh.
You can love Applebee's if you want. We're not going to judge, but you do not have to pretend here.
Best money Applebee's has ever spent. Whatever they paid for that spot last night was not enough for how much Liz was shilling for Applebee's. But no, I'm pumped to be here and to podcast with y'all. And I'd only really met Curt once for like 5 minutes. So it's exciting to actually get to spend some time with y'all because I've been listening. I was thinking about it. I've loved Top Chef longer cumulatively than I've loved Survivor since I had that break in the middle of my Survivor watching. And I've been watching Top Chef consistently from the very beginning. So excited to talk about it. And it was a fun episode. The season's been up in me personally, but I thought it was a solid one, and they seemed to cook some really good food.
So we can get like a finger on the pulse of your Top Chef loves. What are your favorite seasons? Who are your favorite chef testants?
Great question. Season wise, season 6 with the Voltaggio brothers and Kevin, that was a really good one. The New Orleans season obviously holds a special place in my heart as I live here and have for my whole adult life, basically. DC was exciting since I grew up outside DC. And then they've been on a tear recently. I mean, I thought All Stars LA was excellent. I thought Houston, World All Stars, those were both great. I'm sure I'm missing some in the middle. In terms of chef testants, Isaac Toops, got to shout out my New Orleans connection. He's a really great guy as well. He's done a ton raising money and donating food during COVID. And now over the summer with Louisiana, SNAP benefits being cut. He's providing free food to low-income families here in the city. Sheldon, one of my favorites. I loved Shirley Chung. I love Nina Compton. Kristen, obviously, the list goes on and on. But Melissa King, shout out. But yeah, I love the show. I love seeing that y'all get to talk to Jim Smith a lot because I remember loving watching him. But yeah, it's just consistently been one of my favorite shows. So excited to talk about it with people because it's like Survivor. I have a hard time finding people in my real life, daily life to talk about these shows with.
So I can't wait for the Owen and Jim alliance on the Traders.
He came to New Orleans for the live show, and I didn't talk to him. I missed him, and I didn't realize. And I feel like I think I saw him, but I didn't compute that it was him, and I felt so bad when I found out later that he had been there. And man, so Jim, if you're listening, we gotta cut it up sometime.
I take it you're firmly on the side of the Nina was robbed anti-Nicholas.
Oh my goodness, yes. Not to be a Nick hater, but yeah, I'm totally a Nick hater. Nina was so deserving.
I'm in the minority in terms of was pro Nick.
Oh my God. Okay, well this has been fun.
You know what? That's really brought me back to like a core memory of Curt for the longest time, just like loving the most boring contestant on every single season. You haven't done that in a while, but gosh, you had a real run there.
I was always drafting the vanilla white guy. That was kind of the thing that was like who's the just yeah.
That's good.
I will say that mold.
I got to eat at Nina's second restaurant about a month or two ago, Bywater American Bistro, and it was the best octopus dish I've ever had in my entire life. It was like charred, and it wasn't rubbery at all. It was amazing. So
not flambéed.
Not flambéed, flambéed. Charred. She made it to the second round of the Quickfire.
Okay.
Ugh.
Speaking of the Quickfire, our best friend Brian Voltaggio comes in the kitchen.
Now, I know you've got a thing for. Well, I don't think I saw Brian come in, Haley, and I thought of you because you're pro Brian.
Oh, I'm pro Brian.
We both are, though. We both like notedly are.
Okay. Because I was thinking like between the Power Bottom gym session at the start of last week's episode.
Listen, this season is like it's been. You know, I have this theory that the Bachelor producers listen to our podcast and do as much possible to make me upset like that they can, where the Top Chef producers listen to our podcast and they go, what does Haley want? And Haley wants two hotties calling each other husband. Like that is what I want, and I am so glad to have that in Top Chef Wisconsin.
The bromance has been great.
Yeah.
I did think of you both when I saw Brian Voltaggio make his appearance. So
is he a certified DILF in your book, Haley?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And like him standing beside Kristen, that's like too hot for me. Like it's like
too hot to handle.
Too much. Yeah. For like completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think they were going to be able to top last week's judging table for just how like attractive everyone was. But then they did this.
Oh, and then later in the episode, they also had 2013 Haley baseball boyfriend Ryan Braun in the mix, which was a real thrill for me personally.
He's a handsome fella.
And he doesn't sound like a dummy, which like I was honestly expecting him to sound a little bit like a dummy.
He did have to take a season off because he got suspended for PEDs, but that's in the past. That's showbiz.
And then there were 10 sausage experts. I mean, it all just comes full circle.
That's what they called me in high school.
I thought so. Okay.
Quickfire challenge. Create a dish featuring the
segue.
flambe technique because Finish Dish Detergent is sponsoring this challenge, and they want the pots to be real dirty. I do hate cleaning the pots and pans, and I also have a gas stove, so it gets real flamed up on there. They have to flambe stuff. Honestly, I wanted to eat every single thing on this. Kevin,
I felt there was like a lot of chaos carryover in a good way. Like people seem to be approaching things in a more risky or out of the box mode in terms of what we saw on the plate. So I was really, that's maybe was an upside of last week is the impact it has on the rest of the competition.
Yeah, but I think you're right that this episode, the level of cooking was higher in this episode across the board than we have seen. And I think the chaos let them break open a little bit. Like as much as you guys hated that, I loved it. I thought it was great. But I think it like gave them an opportunity to really like figure it out. Kevin made grilled shrimp flambe au pastis with fennel potato puree. Sue made a flambéed bourbon with fish sauce, caramel, whipped creme fraiche, brioche, and bouillet bananas. Laura made pan-roasted sea bass with flambe vermouth sauce, radicchio, and apples. Manny had sautéed mushrooms with mezcal, marsala, ricotta, pecorino with toast. Savannah made saganaki with cheese, toasted white bread, molasses, and flambéed peaches. Kalina made kimchi and a scallion donut, bourbon flambéed peaches and jalapeno. Danny had grilled prawns with satsuma habanero sauce and flambe mezcal. Amanda made French toast brioche with this is the one that's going to trip me up. I was on such a roll, too. Kachaka flambéed mango with lime, coconut, and vanilla meringue. Dan had grilled radicchio and cucumber salad with garlic, ground cherry, pernod emulsion. And Michelle made a flambéed mushroom and bacon toast with sweet potato puree and herbed goat cheese. Kevin, Danny, and Amanda were in the top with their dishes, and I have to agree with the judges. I would have maybe thrown Sue in there too because his looked incredible. But
Karina's was one of the other ones that I wanted to eat my screen looking at that one. But I was proud of myself. I like jotted down, since I was taking notes for this, I jotted down the ones that I thought were going to make it. And I had 2 of the 3. I had Kevin and Amanda on my ones that looked tasty to me. But yeah, it was interesting. Some of them weren't giving flambe to me. Like they didn't like have kind of the visual, because to me, I associate it with Bananas Foster, the dessert, and this like the like caramelization and the texture, and some of them, like I know they did it obviously, but just like visually it wasn't like speaking to me in that way. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I saw more fire on the episode of Below Deck I watched today in one of the stoves than I saw in this episode, it feels like.
Yeah. I am I alone in feeling that we don't need 2 levels to a quickfire?
Oh, no,
Okay.
You're not. This is one of my thoughts about on the quickfire, on the elimination, and on LCK. The structures of the challenges were more chaotic this episode than in the Chaos Kitchen episode. Like the structure, not necessarily the but like remember the All-Star one where they went to the football pitch in London, and there were these very complicated rules about like it was like brackets and that's what this episode was like. I didn't feel like we needed, like you're saying, LaTonya, 2 levels to the quickfire, and it makes you like. And then suddenly they just announced at the end that the $10,000 prize was doubled to $20,000. So I'm wondering,
just offer $20,000 at first. I feel like this season is suffering from something that it shouldn't even be suffering from. Like, shows all the time have to replace their hosts, and then people talk about how the magic of the show is like gone now because the new host is there's no vacuum here. I don't think with these 2 hosts. I think they were just like, oh, Padma won't be around anymore. We've got to get people used to like a new era of the show or something. And so we're just gonna like say the word twist as many times as we can, and if we can make a twist, then we're gonna do it. Like, you don't need all of this to complicate something that's already really cool to watch. You should have stakes to things, I think, that are more than just money. The quickfire should have way more of a through line into the actual challenge itself. And no one, like, it's just like no one this season behind the scenes is noticing any of this stuff. They just want to throw a bunch of gimmicks at us as if we are suffering from there being a hosting vacuum, but we're not. Kristen is amazing.
She's crushing.
She's killing it. And brings her own unique energy to things that is, in my opinion, made more convoluted by all the ridiculous twist stuff.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm not missing Padma at all. Not in like a way where I don't love her or I like didn't appreciate her as a host. It's just like I've accepted it and I love Kristen. I agree that they are throwing a lot of stuff at the wall to see what sticks. And I can understand how week after week after week, being hit in the face with twists is like, okay, guys, like, let's just watch our favorite cooking competition. I will say I like this. I like this episode in particular. I like the 2-prong quickfire challenge. I thought it was like a fun extra little layer to a quickfire. I felt like the elimination challenge, that's not different from anything that we've seen in the past, honestly. Like, I feel like we do a version of this challenge every season. I can completely understand where you're coming from, that like we're getting put a lot just to see what happens. But I would say I would like to see the 2-prong quickfire challenge in a season that's like less convoluted for sure.
What have your thoughts been, Owen, in terms of some of the changes we've seen, like especially like the quickfire no longer offering immunity? Like what are your thoughts on just, we haven't really kind of taken that step back and talked about either from Kristen to some of just the structural changes.
Yeah, well, I hadn't really thought about it until LaTonya put it so beautifully. Like, it really parallels Survivor's new era in terms of like trying to like over fix a problem that isn't really there. You know, obviously Survivor had like the budgetary and COVID reasons for certain decisions, but a lot of the creative decisions that they went with in terms of like losing so many votes, or, you know, the double tribal council or the mergatory, like those things are kind of unforced errors that have been hit or miss. And I worry that they're overcompensating for Padma leaving, but I don't think they need to. I found Kristen really enjoyable. Like LaTonya said, I think her personality has shown in a way that Padma's didn't, or like it's, you can tell they have different personalities, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like Kristen almost like breaks the fourth wall more frequently, or like you can tell when makes a comment off to the side that isn't on the script, and it's just her reacting to something really organically. And I found that to be really transparent and honest and interesting to see her almost like break character in a way to just react organically. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be like the death knell for the show or anything overly dramatic. I will say, like, one thing that I noticed in this episode in particular was like with the guests, they aren't always explaining who they are. Like, who are all these sausage connoisseurs?
We have a lot of guests that we are not learning anything about.
Like, why is the woman from Pitch Perfect here? Is she from Milwaukee?
Like,
why
was she there?
Why are you here? Like, it's just so certain
like,
things
are
like
you
that.
a big fan of the show? Like what? Like,
are you a sausage expert? I mean,
exactly. Yeah, big sausage gal. It's like, I don't get it. I just, that was one, but then it's Ryan Braun, and he played for the Brewers. That makes total sense. So,
and he like owns some restaurants in Milwaukee. Like, it's, but it was
I didn't
just
even
like,
know that. That's perfect.
It's like we just invited Brittany Snow, and she said yes.
Yeah, like they wouldn't have flown her in. It's probably like one search on Google away. Like, is Brittany Snow from Wisconsin? But
why don't I just do that right now while we're here?
That confused me. But
she's from Tampa. I feel like some of the change. Like, I'm actually surprised that when they brought in Kristen, that they didn't keep everything else static, so she can get her footing a little bit. Like let's not change.
Yeah.
Don't look at this as an opportunity to change everything. Look at it like, let's first get Kristen in there, and then maybe the next 23, you change all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering like how much of this is like, which of the things we're seeing, like, is the lack of stakes for the Quickfire going to be like the hourglass in Survivor 41? Like, are we going to see it go away?
Like, that call.
But they even announced today that now immunity is no longer being awarded, which seems way earlier in the season.
It does seem
there's still
like,
9 left.
Yeah, I feel like they do it usually right around like you get immunity going into Restaurant Wars, and then it's kind of kaput.
Are we kind of all in agreement? Yeah, sure. All in agreement that the double elimination that they can slip in at any time is probably going to be Restaurant Wars?
Well, I didn't even think about that. I was just like, oh, it's weird that there's 9 people for Restaurant Wars, and then I remember they brought 2 people back, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, that makes more sense.
It's just also weird that there's just a dangling elimination out there that's being held over people's heads, like the sword of Damocles, where they're trying to cook food. True. Stop it.
Is next week Restaurant Wars? I didn't watch the upcoming. It is.
I'm curious. It's going to be 3, 3, and 3, and then there will be 2 losing teams, and then 1 from each losing team goes home. And so that gives credence to the theory of why they got rid of immunity, is because they don't want one person on a team of 3 being immune at Restaurant Wars. If they like royally scream up in front of
I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah. Why do you have to be smart? I want to hear that as a possibility. That's probably what's going to happen.
It seems likely because the dangling elimination, it makes more sense. Like I don't hate it for Top Chef, just since it is such a like results oriented show, and it can change so much week to week based on their performance, and one of the leaders can choke like Rasica did. But it's just weird structurally, just not knowing exactly how it's going to advance. But maybe that's just like a weird counterpoint to Survivor being so formulaic these days that it's making me anxious. I don't know.
No, it's that thing that goes off in your head when like something is supposed to have been resolved and it wasn't resolved, because this should have been resolved at some point, or they should just make it be okay that they brought back 2 people from Last Chance Kitchen. I mean, did they literally never think that might be a possibility?
It's been done before,
right?
They weren't not going to bring Sue back. I firmly believe.
Oh, of course.
That they weren't not go that anybody who went up against Sue was going to. I think was going to be screwed.
Yeah.
Maybe that is results or I don't know, but I don't know which I feel more strongly about the fact that they got rid of Quickfire immunities, or that they're doing a 9-person restaurant
wars. Yeah.
I don't that.
There's nowhere to hide.
There's nowhere to hide.
This show drives me absolutely bonkers. Like, I'm gonna be like Laura down on the ground, like just chugging alcohol from a bottle.
We now know why she's been that's where her inner saboteur came from. You know, she's spilling stuff on the ground. She's letting people slip. It's because she's like drinking a little bit during the Quickfire.
Alter ego.
That was one of the funniest cuts I've seen in any Quickfire challenge. It's just her like chugging a bottle of vermouth or whatever.
Oh God!
You've never done that?
I've done that.
All the liquors in that kitchen to chug from the bottle. Goodness.
I don't think I ever realized there was like literally bottom shelf of alcohol, like in the Top Chef kitchen, because I could see several contestants from several past seasons is like dipping into that every so often, which I'm fine with. Let's be fair.
Probably so.
In the second part of the Quickfire challenge,
they back to the Quickfire.
Remember the Quickfire challenge?
I put it right back on track. Make a dish featuring the char technique, and it was just Kevin, Amanda, and Danny going up against each other. Kevin made charred squab breast with green curry yogurt sauce, panko fried squab leg, and toasted almond. Amanda made a glazed veal chop with grilled and charred corn relish and peach pickles. And Danny made charred branzino with charred poblano puree and charred avocado. I gotta say, I'm not a veal girly, but Amanda's looked incredible.
Mm-hmm. I thought Amanda was robbed on this one. It looked way tastier and gave more of that like rustic charred, like you want to just devour it. Like Danny's looked a little boring. I don't know. It looked delicious, but it looked like too like chefy for this challenge. I don't know if that makes sense.
Too soigné.
Yeah, too soigné. Exactly.
What was it? Jacques Lemaire? Was that the challenge, the Instagram challenge, where there was like this? There was like the spoof. There was like the satirical Instagram account, which I think was like Chef Jacques Lemaire, where he just took like where the purpose was to make food look soigné and like overly fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Haley,
I rewatched that season with Sammy recently.
No, it's it's funny is that I many years later rewatched that season and realized that the woman who is like Jacques Lemaire is like somebody I genuinely know from around Niagara.
Oh wow!
Like I messaged her being like, "What the hell?" Like I've seen this season so many times, and like it's just clicking now that it's you. And she's like,
"That's funny." I also noticed Kevin. We'll see later. He breaks a Top Chef rule by making risotto, but he also broke a rule in the Quickfire by doing a duo when he didn't need to. Like I knew he wasn't going to win as soon as I saw that fried portion on the plate.
But like it's not a deep fry challenge. Although, honestly, if finished dish tabs could help with greasy dishes, then that's great too.
I just want to go back quickly to Kevin's initial dish, the grilled shrimp dish, because he was like, "This is something that I would make if I was having friends over," and I'm just like, "Is it? Like, who are your friends? Can I be a friend?"
Yeah.
When am I coming over?
Yeah.
And
Kevin, after all we've said about you this season, you have to invite us over. You have
seriously,
to.
Like,
please.
Honestly, the least you could do.
Or maybe don't, because we've been such creeps. I don't know. Up to you.
No, we haven't been creeps. Come on.
Speak for yourself.
You have eyes. What, are you not supposed to say anything?
Exactly. They call themselves the power bottoms.
That's fair. Following up on your comment from earlier, Owen, I was very intrigued by Kalina's donut. Mm-hmm. The kimchi and scallion donut.
That's such a weird sentence.
Intrigued by Kalina's donut.
Oh, fair enough. Between like the jalapeno element, the flambéed peaches, the kimchi, like I want to try this. I don't know if I'll like it,
right?
But I want to try it.
I feel like if Kalina doesn't win something soon, she's going to shank someone.
Yeah, she's definitely got a Yeah. I guess now's as good a time as any also to mention, like, I have a vested interest in Kalina because she's also a Korean adoptee. And all of a sudden now, between her, the twins on Amazing Race last year, and myself, like, there's dozens of us, you know, like,
and Kristen.
The squad is growing. Yeah, and Kristen. I had forgotten about that.
Yeah.
OG.
You should, because you're going to the RHAP event in Chicago, right, Owen?
Oh, yeah, and she's in Chicago.
Try to find a restaurant.
I should. That's a good reminder. I forgot she's based out of Chicago. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I've been rooting for her. I was sad to see her go originally, but it was cool to see her win back. And I mean, I'm sure you've talked extensively about Sue and like what a weird setup this has all been, but I'm glad we got at least a little of his backstory this episode for the people who like don't watch Last Chance Kitchen or aren't as familiar, because I think he's compelling. And like, for me, the parallel between him being a former professional athlete and like his nervous energy in the kitchen, I think is interesting, especially since golf is such like a mental sport. I could see how like that just mindset could allow him to be a really like get to the professional level, but also like make it so he retires at 27 too. So
and I saw challengers this week, so I can like completely get behind the professional athlete's mind and like what they're thinking at all times.
And that explains Dawn's nervous energy in like every season she's been in.
Yeah. Oh my
That's
gosh.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. Dawn's clock management. Ooh.
It's can we just not like I was told personally that I would not be like attacked during this podcast. So
LaTonya, we'd never promised that somebody wasn't going to be attacked on the podcast.
You're on the wrong podcast.
You've been here long enough.
Very true. We need more reasons to have Michael Voltaggio around.
Michael or Brian?
Both. Brian.
I will say, I was supposed to say, like, I want to throw out a Saganaki shout out. Like, I love Flaming Cheese, and so interesting combining it with the bread. But there's actually a diner that has kind of like a Greek flair to it. That's like literally, I can see it out my window. It's been a while since I've been there, but when I go there, I usually get their Saganaki, and now I'm craving it, and I may have to get it this weekend.
Nice. Applebee's and then Saganaki.
Get the bourbon burger.
Yeah.
Don't eat it, and then get the Saganaki.
Kurt, I see you eat every day. Okay? No, you don't get it.
I also just like want to point out, like, I don't even think I could win the Applebee's challenge on Survivor, because after not eating for 2 full weeks and then trying to eat 4 different kinds of cheese, I would have to be medically evacuated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I won a few food rewards on my season, and I won't go into the details, but it is it's a challenge in and of itself too.
I would be like, no, Jeff, I can't take this one. The only challenge, or like the only reward I think I've seen in the many years I've been watching Survivor that has been like, yeah, I'm going for that one, was the fridge of full fat Coca-Cola in Survivor Amazon. That one I could handle.
Nice.
Okay.
So really, when we got to baseball, I thought of you.
I'm glad that you saw baseball and thought of me. I made sure to wear my nice Blue Jays sweater to the podcast so I could represent my hometown team, the Toronto Blue Jays, who do not often face the Milwaukee Brewers, but actually are going to Milwaukee this season.
The Orioles.
Wow. Okay, you have to be kicked off this podcast.
Wow.
Just kidding. At least it's not the Yankees.
Yes, we can agree on that.
Have you been to? Has anybody here been to? I'm going to call it Brewers Field. That's probably not. No, it was
Great American Ballpark. No, that's
American Field.
American Family Field.
American Family Field,
right?
Yeah, because one of
something really pretentious and like probably would judge me.
One of the sausage experts had in his name. I think he was like the official chef of American Family Field. And then I also saw it on the outside the stadium. But I think I went there for like a bachelor party, like as part of like a weekend of festivities. I think I've been to that stadium once. I don't remember the big slide. You guys saw the slide, right?
Did I see the slide? It is the start of one of my favorite clips. And I don't know if it's like a full internet clip or if it's like a hyper-specific Canadian sports clip. But there was like one sports presenter who's like, I'm going down the slide. And he goes down the slide and then breaks a rib in his wrist.
Oh, no.
And like, it sounds terrible, but it is pretty funny if you can find that clip. I feel bad.
Besides his injuries, it was really.
He was laughing too. He was like, I think I broke my wrist, guys. And they're like, oh.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
That would be me. That would be me.
Yeah, I know. I was so excited for there to be a baseball challenge as a big baseball girly. And then this is our sausage challenge. Can't come to Wisconsin without a sausage challenge.
We've had like the Top Chef first annual, was it cheese cook-off? They have all the like first annual like farmers market chop off. Like they keep branding each of these challenges as like the Top Chef blank. Which like they're going to have another sausage fest in the future season.
Well, they had to have the power bottoms for the sausage fest.
That's true.
Did y'all have a team that you thought would win going in?
I thought the yellow team was going to pull it out.
Sorry.
Goodness.
This is a family podcast. This is the great American family podcast.
Since when?
Since 5 minutes ago, LaTonya.
We're talking sausage fest.
I'm a bit of a different podcast.
I thought you were talking about who was going to win the sausage race. I'm like, I guess I was pulling for Polish sausage.
No. What I was trying to make note of the teams when they were like mingling around, but it wasn't really till like halfway through the cook that I fully knew who was on each team.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny is that the knife draw had a very similar result as the mergatory event in this season of Survivor, because it was like all girlies and one boy and all boys and one girl.
Oh,
good point.
I wonder which team Tiffany would have picked to be on if she was on Top Chef. Anyway, so yeah, there was some sausage racing, and then based on who won that, the chef testants were not participating in the sausage racing for those.
No, and all it really
rigged.
Oh my god, yeah, it was obviously rigged. I was like, what? This is not fair.
And also, is that chorizo costume kosher in the year of our Jeff 2024?
I don't think so.
I do appreciate Manny and Amanda being like rooting for the sausage because it's the only brown one.
Yeah, the sausage is color, the SOC.
Amanda's one of us, and I can't wait.
She's great.
Like, he should come on our podcast as well. I just think she would fit right on in.
That would be amazing.
And then it would turn into a game of D&D.
Roll initiative, Amanda. I thought the sausage race was completely unnecessary. Like
100%.
Yeah. No, totally.
I mean, it was fun.
Was it? Was it
no.
fun? Like, were we just supposed to think that it was fun? Because even the people there were like, "Wow, those sausages really can run." These
sporting events I've gone to, I am like on my feet cheering for one of the, whether it's literally the sausages running around the base or like on the big screen, it's just like three,
the condiment race.
Yeah, like you see like a video of a bottle of ketchup run. Yeah, I love that, but I think it's when you're in the environment of the stadium that it's really more charged.
Of course.
It loses its electricity when there's 13 of you in the stadium instead of a packed house.
I really want to see is a brawl between like the sausages of Milwaukee, the hot dogs of Cleveland, the presidents of DC. Like, there's got to be some more of those kicking around too. But like, I want to see like a three-way brawl between those three.
Yep.
Like, I want to see Thomas Jefferson kicking the ass of the bratwurst.
I also thought that having two teams was unnecessary on this. Like, just have pairings, and the losers are up for elimination.
I was fine with the team. I think the team made sense in the Because it's baseball. I thought it was funny how convoluted they were getting with like
Yes.
each inning there's going to be 5 innings, like it's like a t-ball.
Oh,
like
wait for Last Chance Kitchen.
Oh yeah, the Last Chance Kitchen was so extra. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was fine with it. I think there should have been 2 teams. Like that made sense to me. This made way more sense to me than remember the football challenge in Houston?
That one was
where,
terrible.
Like, where we were just like who won? Who won that?
Because no one scored a touchdown, right? Like they
exactly.
like 95 yards.
They're like, we could eliminate all of you.
Yeah.
So it was the people who were on. It was the losers of the losing team who were up for elimination.
Yeah.
Which meant it was going to potentially be 3 to 4 to 5 people.
Yeah.
And because it was so close, it was 3 people. Should we get to the dishes? Because I'm about to
Let's get to the dishes. So we had Sue and Danny going up against each other with a hot dog. Sue made a corn dog with wasabi and jalapeno mayo, and Danny made a bacon wrapped hot dog with braised cabbage and beet relish. Sue won that round. In the Polish sausage round, we had Savannah with her pierogi and fennel and apple salad going up against Michelle's étouffée with creamy grits. Michelle won that round. In the Italian sausage round, we had Kalina going up against not Italian Kevin. Although, like, I think Kalina kept being like, you and me, Italian. And he's like, I'm French. Je suis français, madame. Like, qu'est-ce que c'est? That's the most French I'll ever do.
That's it. That's all you got.
I took many years of French, but I'm embarrassed about it. So, actually, I said étouffée pretty good. So,
good job.
La, la, la. Kevin had a risotto with roasted Parmesan emulsion and fennel. And Kalina won with a potato gnocchi with Italian sausage and Calabrian chili ragu. Curt wrote churro in the notes instead of chorizo.
Churro and then chorizo. But okay,
I was like, one of these things is not like the others.
Would a churro challenge not be amazing?
Oh gosh. Manny won with the chorizo and cheese tortilla and roasted salsa and avocado crema against Laura's chorizo kebab taco with yogurt sauce. And in the final round, we had the bratwurst. Dan lost with his potato pancake, charred cabbage and sauerkraut and mustard butter and herbs against Amanda's rye and caraway spetzel, caramelized onion with beer, mustard sauce, and crispy sauerkraut.
I just want to say that a churro kebab taco with yogurt sauce sounds amazing.
I would sign up for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There were a lot of these that sounded delish.
So when Sue was talking about, and I think the people who got Sue and Danny got the hot dog, they was like, "This is the vanilla, sausage of the bunch." And he started saying he was going to do a Korean inspired corn dog. I had my first when I was in London.
I was going to say, did your stomach churn? Because longtime listeners of the podcast may remember that last time you went to, not this past time, but the previous time you went to London, you got serious food poisoning from what you suspect to be a Korean corn dog.
It was one of 3 things. It was either a local Philly cheesesteak, a German kebab, or a Korean corn dog. And the Korean, I'm still not sure which of the 3, but the Korean corn dog I had was covered in. It was a Korean ramen corn dog, and for some reason I had thought that it was like instead of batter, it was going to be like covered in some sort of ramen noodle.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm picturing when you just said it.
Yeah,
it said it was like a regular corn dog, but with like crumbled dry ramen. Yeah, and then you got to add your own toppings to it, and I think I got like a garlic sauce and sriracha. At the time it was fine, but fast forward 8 hours and something hit me wrong. So I had a little bit of a reaction. But he was talking about like the batter had like almost like diced French fries.
Yeah, I was intrigued by that. Yeah. That sounded really, really good to me. And like texturally, I was so curious. Like, it must have stayed crunchy for him to have won that handily. Because like I could see a scenario where like that gets. Well, I guess he only won by 3 votes, but I was nervous when he said French fry, like maybe it could have gotten soggy or this or that.
Yeah.
But I bet that was fascinating to eat. And Danny's
and
must
the
have been
mayo
really
on
good.
there too.
It's the jalapeno mayo, the jalapeno wasabi situation. And then I was just quickly going to say Danny's looked not all that exciting, but it must have tasted really, really good to be that close.
I was like, Danny, did you make those buns? Tell me you made those buns.
And I know this wasn't part of the challenge, but I saw Danny's and I was like, oh, that's going to be messy to eat at the ballpark. Because sometimes they have those challenges where it's like, well, can you actually take this and eat this at a tailgate party, you sort of thing. But I was glad to, and actually for all of these, I kind of came out of this knowing that Kevin lost. Like that was like, there was, regardless of the vote spread, there was still positive commentary about pretty much everything except for Kevin's. Like upon reflection, Savannah's, you like the Polish sausage got lost. Like she hit the sausage too well. But the sorry.
This isn't the Drag Race podcast.
It could very easily become that, though.
Yeah. So I guess like she would have potentially been in the running, but like the moment we got to Kevin, I'm like, this is the only like really, not really negative, but it was the only like negativity of any substance that I feel people had. So I did not feel good for him coming out of this.
I literally wrote "uh-oh" in my notes when he was making risotto. And yeah, I the only other possibility I thought maybe was Dan, just because his seemed like a little boring. It was like kind of more of a classic combo, not super like inspired flavor profiles or anything super unique necessarily. And he just, like they said, he just kind of cut up the sausage and put it on top. So I thought they may have punished him for going the easy route, whereas Kevin swung for the fences, as it were, doing a like famously difficult dish on Top Chef. But yeah, I guess it was just too cheesy. The texture did look odd on the shot.
Yeah.
I have something against foam on dishes of food I'm supposed to eat. That is not an element that looks good to
appealing,
me ever.
Yeah. The comment that it was a really good mac and cheese was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm also just like not a risotto girly. Like often it's like not done well enough so that it's like crunchy on the inside and like mushy on the outside, but often the texture is mushy and it's just like not for me personally. The chorizo round I would say was quite possibly the most interesting one, just because both dishes were so incredible. I mean, Laura's chorizo kebab taco looked incredible, like the way it was presented on the knife. But Manny's was really beautiful. Like I didn't know where they were gonna go with this one.
Yeah, I think it was Manny's dish where Gail was like, "You just gave me the perfect plate of food." Like if Gail Simmons ever said that to me, I'd just like combust on the spot. Like that was really a compliment, and I have such a crush on Gail. I'm not afraid to say it. She's excellent. But yeah, like that was such high praise, and I thought because Laura made her own chorizo, like that would kind of give her a significant leg up. But I guess that just speaks to how good his was.
Here's my crack pot theory, and that like I don't think there's any standing to it whatsoever. But if Laura would have won this round, it would have just been the yellow team. Like it would just there would have been no drama for that last round. Now I do actually think Manny deserved to win, et cetera, but I don't know. Maybe.
Convenient.
I was wondering, because I'm trying to remember if that's happened before in challenges like this where it's best of. Like it always feels like it almost always comes down to having to like Survivor reference read all the votes. Like there's never like one team that comes out so far ahead that you don't like have to, that who won before you even gets to the final matchup or whatever. So I guess I expected it to be 3-2, but I also believe that they judge fairly. So I guess there always would have been the chance that it could have been 5-0.
There's a lot of 13-2s.
There were.
Yeah.
By that I mean there was 2 of them, but there was a 12-3.
You had a nickel.
Yeah.
The etouffee with creamy grits, just
No
kind of
notes
speaks for
from you?
itself. Like, I
I
want that,
wanted
please.
etouffee was the one thing I did not get a chance to have when I was in New Orleans in December. On, I think
Mm.
I've had every other staple.
Mhm.
The etouffee was like the one thing I missed, but that looked amazing, LaTonya.
I've never been to New Orleans.
Oh, gotta come sometime. It's a great food town. But yeah, etouffee, I was excited to see it like make the show. And when she was talking about, you know, being exposed to more Cajun and Creole cuisine when she moved to Houston, that spoke to me because, you know, it's a very regional thing, and there's so much history and so much like heart in the food that I think it translates really well in these competitions. Like we've seen people over the years kind of being able to like make up for a lack of technique with just delicious depth of flavor. And I think sometimes people get it conflated that Cajun and Creole is all about spice and heat, but it's really about seasoning and like developing flavors. And I've never heard of it being done with sausage. You know, with etouffee, usually you get it with shrimp or crawfish or, you know, a seafood situation. And hers looked amazing. And usually it's with rice instead of with grits. And I think it would have been really interesting to try. That was one I was like salivating over for sure.
And her journey has just been so interesting as like a contestant on the show. I mean, this time last week, I was, you know, having a meltdown because I thought that she was going to be gone.
Me too.
She was at the bottom. And then all of a sudden, I mean, like, I'm just saying, I've got a bad heart, Michelle. So if you could just keep it consistent, that'd be great. You know, I'm glad you're growing as a person and as a chef, and that this experience is bringing something unique out of you. I'm just telling you as a watcher, what I'm going to need from now on is for you to stop freaking me out every episode. So thank you.
Please and thank you. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, in the beginning, she was saying like, oh, I'm just a pit master. I don't know if and then she crushed with that first pasta challenge. And she's been one of my favorites this whole way through. And her energy is just so infectious. I mean, she's got a beautiful smile, positive energy, just like coming out of the screen. So yeah, I was excited to see her do well on a dish that I love.
Yeah, I think if Michelle wants to have a Food Network career after this, like I think that door would very much be open for her. Like she does really have that warm, engaging personality where you just like naturally can't help but to root for her. And I love how honest she's been in some of the struggles, or like sharing that, like she's like, hey, I don't know if I feel like I deserve this, but then she kind of comes out on top being like, okay, yeah, like obviously I do. I'm right in line with some of these Michelin star winning chefs. So I'm really excited that she won this challenge after being in the bottom last week. I thought this was like a really good challenge overall. Like Tom even said that this was some of the best food they've gotten all season, which is really interesting with something such as like so like simple as sausage. And I feel like a lot of the chefs could have really been felt tied down by the simplicity of sausage, but they all really shone here. So that was a lot of fun.
That's a great point. Yeah, I think it was 3 or 4 of the matchups he said these were both really good. So I don't think we've gotten that energy from him the rest of the previously in the season. And it seemed like to me like he was so much more impressed during Last Chance Kitchen than during the main show. And he was like, to me, it felt like in Last Chance Kitchen, every week you would taste it and be like, thank God someone made something good. Like, finally, like, I'll let 2 of you back in, because on the main show, they're giving me dog shit compared to what you're whipping up here in 10 minutes, you know? So it was nice to see him, like, actually be impressed and, like, give them their props. And it was nice, even though Kevin ended up going home, like, Gail saying like this was one of the better risottos we've ever had on Top Chef, which I don't know if that's like backhanded or not, but
it must a little bit
soften the blow for him.
Yeah. And I thought Kevin like left so graciously. Like I think he knew like it was his time, like compared to everyone else who's left. Like he's probably been in the bottom the most. And him and Manny's bromance, like I don't know if anything could ever come as close to this. Fever dream for me.
I think I have an idea of what could. Okay, so go with me on this.
Okay,
this is from Owen's idea. This is your idea, Owen.
So we don't like it. It's on you.
Exactly. We have it's punked, but it's like for restaurants, right? And like really high level chefs, right? And I think that someone should actually give Tom Colicchio dog shit and just treat it like it's a normal thing and just see what he does in a restaurant setting. And then we can record it. And I'm just saying,
call us, Bravo. This is my idea.
There's more where this came from.
Yeah, when it breaks the ratings, you know who to ask for your next
for your
show.
next twist. Please give us a call.
Like it's funny you say, because I can't remember what challenge. I can't remember at what point during the episode I was thinking this, but I thought a challenge where you basically have to lie about your dish and fool the judges in some way would kind of be interesting. So like you're like, no, that's not it. Maybe it's a little bit like that part on Hell's Kitchen where the people, like, you get down to Final Four and everyone has to like run the kitchen and then like try to like swap in salmon for halibut or something, and and the person in charge has to catch it. But like you tell the judges, well, this is a veal chop with blah 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 blah, and it's like if they don't catch that it's actually lamb chop, then you get some sort of advantage or some sort of point for your team or something. But like some sort of fool the judges thing, I thought could be an interesting challenge.
Yeah,
I like that.
Let's do it. Let's always be lying to the judges.
Curt, tell me about Last Chance Kitchen.
Oh boy!
Oh my gosh! Tell all of us.
It's a mouthful. I watched as well, but I'm excited to hear you try to explain this. Okay.
Well, first of all, they tried to force a baseball analogy into it that didn't really need to be there.
I didn't hate it though once I understood it.
Yeah, so the chefs were. So Tom rolls out this big board that has Kevin and Rosica on it, and like 9 innings. Like you see like a standard like physical scoreboard for baseball, and the chefs are told you have 45 minutes to cook as many dishes for me as you want to, each one kind of being represented by an inning, and for each dish Tom is going to score you anywhere from 0 to 4 runs depending on how much he likes it, and it's just like go. And like Rosica was like, I'm going to do this traditional 5-course Indian meal. And so she was going to basically at 5 chances at scoring 0 to 4 points. And Kevin was like, I'm just going to shoot for 3 maybe. And as you served your dish as you got them up there, and Tom tasted it and then would say, okay, that's worth 2 runs. That's worth 4 runs. That's worth 0 runs or what have you. At first I thought it was going to, and then he hangs a little tag, like Kevin's first dish represented his score for the first inning, and so on. And I thought he was going to initially just like wait till each person had served 1 dish, and then he was going to give them the score for that inning. And that's how it was the first couple of dishes. But I think there was just enough of a gap where like Kevin got his 3rd dish out there way before Rosica got her 3rd dish out there, and he said, "Here's what you scored in the 3rd inning," which could have had Rosica change what she was doing, seeing what his score is, but. So when it came down to it, Rosica ended up serving 4 dishes, and Kevin ended up serving 5. His 5th dish really kind of came out. 30 seconds left, and it was like, "Here's some salmon with a dill sauce on it."
And he like burnt his hand grilling a piece of toast. Like it was really, he made it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, he was. I think he was trying to shave time off his cooking by using his hands instead of tongs. Anyway, so the 4 dishes that Rosica got out there were again, she was shooting for 5. She got through 4. It was a rice payasam, which was kind of like a rice pudding sweet starter course.
It sounded yummy.
It looked really good.
But she undercooked the rice was the issue, and that set her down from the beginning.
She got 1 point for that, 1 run, sorry. So you couldn't just throw some like ground beef on a plate and call it steak tartare and get 1 point. There was an opportunity to get 0 points. Her second course was a Berber eggplant with corn and pepper salad, for which she got 2 points. She did a bizi belly bat, which I was fun to pronounce, which was rice and lentils with roasted potato curry for 2 runs, and a sea bass green chutney, tomato, and plum salad for 1 run. So she got a total of 6 runs. Kevin ended up getting 5 dishes out there. He started with a roasted lamb with panko, garlic, and demi-glace, which scored him 3 runs. The highest.
Gorgeous.
It looked amazing. Tom was raving about it. I thought Tom was going to maybe give it 4, but I think it's also dangerous to give 4 for the first dish.
Very first thing, yeah.
His second dish was scallop with butternut puree and herb salad for 2 runs. And again, these didn't have to be progressive menus. You could have done anything. A poirot vinaigrette, not the detective, with chive and parsley salad for 1 run. He was kind of on a 1-run run.
Mm-hmm. Hey, singles win games.
Yes, singles win games. The charred butter lettuce with salmon, herb, and yogurt sauce for 1 run, and smoked salmon with dill cream, which just looks so simple, but it wasn't worth 0 runs.
I'm shocked that didn't get 0.
Yeah.
And you could hear Tom, they were making small mistakes because they were sprinting, and hearing them try to explain their dishes, he'd be like, this is butter lettuce, blah, blah. And they just they were breathing heavy and running around, and Tom would be like, okay, I get it. But a lot of it was under season.
Yeah, consistently.
Which makes sense. They're whipping it out. But it worked out because, 3 singles at the end helped him just kind of maintain that lead.
And that's a great point is, unlike most LCK and even regular series dishes, it's you walk your dish up, you set it down, you stand there, and you describe it, and the dishes and the judges give you feedback. Here, it's they drop the dish and they want to run back and keep cooking because the goal it was almost a little bit of quantity over quality, or quantity while sacrificing quality as little as possible. And so he was shouting it out when he ran up, but with his accent, there were a couple of times where Tom was like, "Can you say it again? Repeat that, please." Poirot vinaigrette was said a couple of times, and then, because they're not up there getting feedback, Tom is kind of just talking to himself. He's giving his voiceover to the camera, but he's hunched over eating and just kind of giving his monologue commentary and not able to deliver it to the audience or to the chef. So it was a little bit of a strange challenge. Again, you didn't necessarily need the baseball scoreboard. It was literally cook as many dishes as you can in 45 minutes, and you're going to get a score of 0 to 4 for each one. But anyway, Kevin is ending up advancing. He beat Rosika by 2 points, and we've got. He said there wasn't a hint as to you have to get through this many people. He said it's a long journey ahead. Is this potentially setting us up for a Power Bottom Last Chance Kitchen, a Power Bottom themed Last Chance Kitchen? I think the last thing or the first thing we want to see is Manny and Kevin going up against each other in LCK, but we'll see.
We shall see.
I'm kind of glad that the two of you explain that as opposed to me watching it, because that sounds like the most ridiculous.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. And I think that's what cemented my comment earlier about. I thought that the challenges in the main episode as well were overly complicated. The second level of the Quickfire, maybe I was stretching a little in terms of trying to find something wrong with the sausage challenge, but it just seemed that May 1st was overcomplicated challenge day.
Apparently, my goodness.
But, all right, so Rosika's out and Kevin is advancing.
I can't believe I really thought Rosika was gonna run the table.
Yeah. They kind of set her up for that, and she was so creative. It was a bummer to see her go, but that's showbiz.
I'm kind of mad at the show about that.
I can't wait to see her in All Stars 3. That's for sure.
Yay!
Yeah, she's so funny too. Her energy is really pops off the screen, I would say.
Yeah.
But I was sad to see Charlie go and to not really get his footing in the season really at all. His restaurant here in New Orleans is actually one of my favorites. It used to be a stand at one of the food halls here, and then he's got a full restaurant now, and it's phenomenal. Just I usually get the griot, which is the double cooked pork, so I think it's braised and then fried, and comes with plantains and rice and beans and the pickles he makes on the show, and super tasty, and the cocktails are good, and yeah, it's a good spot. So if you ever make it down to New Orleans, put it on the list. It's worth it.
Does he still have the spot in the food hall, or just the restaurant?
Just the restaurant now. But
I love me a good food hall.
Yeah.
Me too. I love a lot of options,
Yeah.
We do love a food hall.
Oh,
It's a
and
hall of food. What's not to love, you know?
tell us the snacks you snacked on this week that you want to share with us.
What did I eat? I did. It's a little embarrassing. So Sammy's out of town right now, dealing with some family stuff. But I've eaten wings 2 nights in a row, and I might make it 3 because
Two's not embarrassing, my friend.
Wait,
No.
2 separate orders or leftovers on day 2?
So day 2 and 3 might end up being leftovers. Day 1, well, actually, this might end up being 4 meals. So I got wings for dinner on Tuesday night from the dive bar next door. Got some cheese fries, really good. You know, just a nice, unhealthy fiance's not home kind of meal. And then I had the leftovers for lunch. And then I went over to my friend's house to watch Survivor, and he usually cooks dinner and dessert. And he's like, "You down for wings?" And I didn't want to be a rude guest and be like, "I just had wings. Like, make me something else." So I was just like, "Bet wings sound good." So then I might have the leftovers of those when we hang up here.
Nice.
That sounds good to me. I'm
Yeah.
not. I wouldn't complain about 3 days of wings.
No,
The dive bar wings, were they just like buffalo, or did you go like mango habanero, garlic parmesan? Like what's your
I went with their dry rub, actually.
Dry rub? Okay.
It used to be lemon pepper there, which is one of my favorites, but they changed it to where it's just like a more just like standard dry rub, but it was good. They were good and they're nice and crispy. But my favorite, there's this place here called Who Dat Wings and More #2, and they are on Uber Eats. And I discovered them during COVID, but they're open really late. So actually, after the New Orleans live show back in December, me, Franny, Cassidy's brother, and Matt Blankenship and Sammy, we ordered like 60 wings to my place at like 2 a.m. and just demolished them. And they stay crispy in transit, which is a miracle. So
Wow.
Who Dat Wings and More #2 gets my support.
Is there Who Dat Wings and More number one?
I believe so.
Okay, cool.
I just have loyalty to 2 because it's closer to where I live. But I don't know. I don't know if there's beef, if it's a franchise situation. They've got a history. But yeah, it's delicious stuff. What's y'all's go-to wing? Buffalo or lemon pepper or something else?
I like a classic buffalo if I'm just getting wings. My favorite is actually like a honey hot. Or like if we're getting wilds, like I love like a mango something or like a fruity something because I'm a baby and can't always handle a lot of spice.
I'm a basic Buffalo Wild Wings guy. I love their garlic parmesan. Yeah. I like their spicy garlic. I like their Asian zing. I like their they had a truffle sauce that they called truffalo wings, which I thought was clever.
That is clever.
Wow.
Oh, I get it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Asian
I'm here.
Because it's just like indiscriminately Asian.
Asian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just general Asia.
And I get it's like I like the flavor, but there's nothing in there that I can identify as particularly from like any part of Asia.
Listen, everybody knows how hard the Uzbeki wings hit.
Yeah, the Uzbeki wing. Well, it's funny. And the place I got the Korean corn dog in London, anybody who goes to London, you have to go to Mercato Metropolitano because they've got like a Uzbek food stand. They've got a Sri Lankan food stand. They've got an Argentinian food. Like it's a food hall. It's a huge ass food hall from all over the world. Himalayan dumplings. High recommend. They didn't have wings there though. I love it.
LaTonya, are you a wing person?
I love wings. I love a good lemon pepper, but like with mild sauce. Mild sauce is a much bigger thing in Chicago than it is, I think, in a lot of places. We have Harold's here. Harold's chicken, you've probably heard about it like from pop culture a lot. And so whenever I get food from there, I always get lemon pepper, but also like with mild sauce. I like a good like habanero is about like mango habanero is about as hot as I can get without just like messing up all of the things that are already wrong with my body. But I also am a fan of a good like a garlic parmesan as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm in the mood for just like an old fashioned buffalo wing with some blue cheese.
Yep.
Oh, it really is a mood dependent thing. Blue cheese for sure.
Yeah. Wait, well, since y'all are purists, I have one more question. I tweeted last night during the Applebee's reward that I said boneless wings are chicken nuggets with a baby emoji and the X emoji, because I am of the belief that if you want boneless wings and you're too much of a coward to eat the meat off the bone, that's fine with me. But don't pretend that you're eating a chicken wing.
I was going to bring this up earlier and ask you your stance on buffalo.
Is real wings are real wings, and boneless wings are for babies, and you should just call them chicken tenders or nuggets.
I love a boneless wing,
yes,
but it is a different experience.
That's fine, as long as you can acknowledge it's not the same as a wing.
No, like if I'm going for wings, I'm not ordering a boneless wing. But in the Pizza Hut and My Pizza box, where you get a personal pan pizza with 3 toppings, and your choice of regular wings, boneless wings, or fries, I'm getting the boneless wings every single time.
I could see that from like a place like Pizza Hut, like a more chain type place.
I hate oven wings. So I will not. I'll pick boneless wings over an oven wing every time.
I like this. I like the specificity.
I feel like boneless wings is just something that is like a complete marketing ploy. I really do think they are just tendies. They're just chicken tendies.
Yeah.
And it's how, like, you know, like on TikTok, you can't say suicide. You have to say unalive themselves. It's just like, this is just marketing. And I'm smart enough and have worked in advertising, so I can see through this. And you're eating tendies. It's okay to be a little baby.
But like half-size tendies.
So my entire career has been advertising, and I'm a tendies guy, boneless wings guy. So here's like, I don't like eating food where I don't know that I'm done with the food. And with anything that has bones, I'm like,
good night, everybody.
So apples, anything like we're like, oh, am I done with the apple? I don't know. Like, give me apple slices. And boneless wings. It's like, you know, when you just pop the whole thing in your mouth. There's no judging. Can I get more meat off of it?
So, like, are you against bananas?
No, because you can eat the whole banana. There's no banana core.
What about an orange? You're like an orange hater?
No, you can eat the whole, like, you can peel it. You never eat the peel, but you can eat an entire orange. You can eat an entire.
Okay, what about a peach or a nectarine?
Like a stone fruit's a lot more cut and dry in terms of being.
You're insane. I love you, Curt Clark.
About right now, like.
No, I hear what he's saying, because you don't want to be judged for leaving too much meat on the bone.
Yeah, my dad used to get
your character.
My dad used to get mad at me for leaving too much meat on the chicken wing bone. And he would take it off my plate and finish it.
I've never been judged for not eating enough. If anything, I'm like a dog. As long as there's food in front of me, I will keep eating. And with certain foods,
grazing tables are bad for me because I will stand by it the entire time. And I can't if you're sharing a charcuterie board with friends and like everyone's like, oh, like I'm not gonna have that last piece of meat. Like there's like 1 block of cheese left and 1 meat left and like 3 grains of a grainy mustard. I'm scooping it up. It's mine. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna let it walk away from me.
I've gotten the nickname the cleaner from my eating habits.
Oh, that's amazing. I have a slogan where I say, if it's me or the garbage, it might as well be me. So.
Exactly.
We're stealing that for our next t-shirt launch. Thank you.
And with an apple, I don't know if it's me or the garbage. Like, is it done? I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe this goes back to me having braces, but I always cut the apple. Like I have to cut my own slices, and then I just have like a square.
That's what I have to do if I have an apple. Is I have to slice it and get as close to the core as possible.
Yeah, I haven't bitten into an apple since like 2005.
Yeah. Oh, the great apple bite of 2005. I remember that.
It's been almost 20 years since I've physically bit into an apple.
Wow, your teeth must feel great.
Well, because I was always afraid of knocking like a wire off, and now I have the behind retainer, so
or
I'm
you have
worried
to
about knocking that off.
The floss on like the leader thing where you like fish it through your braces.
I have to go to the dentist tomorrow, and my dental hygienist is going to yell at me for not doing that enough.
I floss every day that I have a dentist appointment.
I floss every single day. Like I physically cannot go to bed unless I have floss.
That's
but
good.
it's just like with the wire, it's like a little tough
That's a
sometimes.
good-
I'm sorry to my dental hygienist.
Good to see it.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm glad we got
LaTonya,
that
what
out.
did you eat this week? Last week you left us on a cliffhanger of what you were ordering for dinner. I need to know what you ordered for dinner last
What
week.
did I end up, or what day was that? The
It was
25th?
I think
Wednesday.
it was Thursday.
Oh yeah, it was Thursday.
It was late though. It was
was
late.
was
Did you
late.
eat?
It was like 3 a.m.
It
Yeah.
was not.
Because we started at 10 p.m. Eastern.
I had a weird day that day because of when we started. But like I had kind of eaten something earlier, so I just decided to order food like I normally would after a podcast. So I got food from this place called Rosebud that I've never ordered from before in Chicago. They are an Italian restaurant.
Where are they located? Do you know?
720 North Rush.
I think I know where that's at. Yeah, because I used to work at an agency right around the corner from there, and it's near a Giordano's and near Jake Melnick's.
Okay.
Cool.
I got their garlic knots because they were on the menu.
Because they're there.
Yeah, you have to order.
Yeah.
I didn't make the rules. Oh yeah, now I remember because I was really craving eggplant after whatever the hell it was that Rosca did to that eggplant.
Like the one that got her eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah. the
Nothing like a
elimination
sous
eggplant.
vide slimy
Sous vide
eggplant.
Yum. Slug-like.
Yes.
So I got eggplant parm. To
Never
like
had
kind of
that.
I love
really,
eggplant parm.
It's so good.
What did you just say? You've never had eggplant parm?
Because if they offer eggplant parm, they offer
Or-
meat parm, and I
That's
will
fair.
always get the meat parm.
That's valid.
fair
Okay.
enough.
I guess.
Speaking of last week's guest, or last week's TV guest, Matty Matheson, his restaurant makes a really excellent eggplant parm. Just as a heads up.
Really? This restaurant had good eggplant parm. The sauce was a little bit sweet, like a little sweeter than I would normally have. I also had some really good sausage and peppers in them.
Okay.
I couldn't decide what it was that I wanted.
Love it.
I got food from the ramen place again, but it's just their they do like pork belly on rice with an egg, and it's just really good. It's just from Strings Ramen, and I order extra eggs whenever I order from there because they're delicious. I think I talked about them last week. What I did have last night that was really good is I had a fajita trio. And I haven't had fajitas in a really long time, so I got chicken, steak, and shrimp.
Nice.
But like the most delicious thing, and I also got a side of sauteed mushrooms, and I made mushroom and shrimp fajitas. And
banging.
So good. It was just so good. Like everything about it was wonderful. It really hit like at the perfect time because it like came just as the Applebee's reward challenge was getting hyped up. And I mean, I just had a really good time. Like with some fajitas, and I haven't had them for a really long time. So I'm very much excited that I had that. And then tonight I'm getting soul food, so I'm excited for eating soul food tonight.
Nice.
Curt, what did you snack on this week?
So over the weekend, across the street from me is a Colombian cafe, and I still remember like about 10 years ago, I had to go to Colombia for work, and I had bandeja paisa for the first time, and I just discovered that they serve that dish across the street from me. Those not familiar with it, it's just a plate full of goodness. So it's typically red beans cooked with pork, white rice, ground meat, chicharron, fried egg, plantain, chorizo, arepa, sometimes black pudding, and avocado just on a big plate. If anybody's been watching Amazing Race, yeah, they had to make it as one of the challenges there. And that it's just so good. It's like a
full English breakfast. But
I was gonna say it's literally it's like the South American version of full English. So tasty. And then right next to it is the tiki bar I frequent. Although
I was going to ask about the tiki bar. I was like, where is that?
I've not been there since I was laid off last July. And now that I'm in the working world again, I went there over the weekend as well. I got my favorite burger there, which is their Gorgonzola pork belly burger. So it's like a pork belly on top of a burger patty with Gorgonzola cheese, a garlic mayo.
A lot.
It is. I swapped in their fried Brussels sprouts for their waffle fries, and I got a side of fried Spam. Now,
yes,
very salty. And it's like half-inch thick slices. It comes with 4 of them. I ate 2. The next day, I made a Spam wrap out of a sun-dried tomato wrap that I had, and I made a slaw, a Brussels sprout carrot slaw with peanuts, and threw them all in there with some yum yum sauce. Great stuff. Then yesterday, I went to a local Korean restaurant and I got ramen, a side of kimchi, and a bibimbap burrito, which was damn tasty. And then I also just this made me think, if they can do Top Chef Wisconsin, they can do Top Chef Michigan. Mackinac Island fudge. It's been ages since I've had any, but when I went grocery shopping, this one's already been eaten. I've got cookies and cream fudge.
Oh.
I've got cookie dough fudge. But between like Mackinac Island and their fudge, you've got Traverse City and the cherries, just like Door County here in Wisconsin. Huge Middle Eastern community in the Detroit area. Lots of fish. I think apples. I think they should have done Top Chef Michigan instead of Top Chef Wisconsin. That's my 2 cents. Next season. Well, that's probably too close.
They're tired of the Midwest now.
Pasties. Get your little Michigan calzone. Anyway, yeah. So it's that's what I've been eating. Been slowly expanding my getting my horizons expanded again. How about you, Haley?
Wasn't that like super interesting of a food week? Actually, you know what? That's a lie. I'm lying to you guys. I made some pasta last Friday, which was delicious. It was just like a cacio e pepe for Christmas. Ethan got me a wine club membership to Benjamin Bridge Winery out in Nova Scotia. So I had one of their Cab Franc rosés with the pasta. It was excellent. I love a rosé. It's rosé season, but it's always rosé season. Also for the fellow Canadians, Tim Hortons has a new tiramisu cold brew. It's pretty mid. Honestly, It's just like too sweet. They also have like a Bailey's cold brew, like a non-alcoholic Bailey's cold brew, and that one's really delicious. I went to my first Jays game of the season this weekend, and I got a prickly pear margarita. Here, let me hold the photo up to you guys. And it came in a really cool shaker cup. And I will never accuse a Blue Jays bartender of making a weak drink. That is for sure. And we also went to Amsterdam Brewery right beforehand for lunch. They always do food real quick, and it's always good. We got like a Southwest chicken pizza and some fries, and their pretzel is incredible. What we didn't realize was that the Dodgers fan club told all of the Dodgers fans that were going to the game to go to that bar beforehand. So it was like a Dodgers bar when we went. And then this weekend, or Tuesday, I was coming home from the office, so we got takeout from a Greek restaurant, and it's like one of those meals for 2, and then it lasted us for 4 days straight. It was excellent. And then this evening, Ethan made homemade Crunchwrap Supremes, although there was no crunch element, so it was just like a wrap Supreme. It was delicious. It was really good.
Minus the crunch.
But that's it. That's it from me.
I like that you say it was like dinner for 2, whereas I'm like, that's like the goal for me, is like, can I not eat enough so that can I have leftovers?
Ethan had, his eyes are always way bigger than his stomach. He was like, we should order the dinner for 4. I was like, you're insane. It was like this whole it was like a full metal container, so much rice, so much potatoes, so much meat. It's like $35. So to get, and you could get 6 meals out of it. I'm not kidding.
I regularly will I'll get takeout, and I can always tell I always feel bad when if they include more than one set of utensils. I always feel bad. Oh, you think this is for 3 people? That's adorable.
Yeah, these are rookie
travel.
numbers.
Yeah, they're always like, "Oh, here you and your family enjoy this spread." You got.
And it's just like me and my cat sitting there, like, we'll enjoy this. Thank you.
Why are you judging me?
Me in my eating bed, because I'm team eating bed when you're on work travel. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the concept, but when you get the 2 queen beds in your hotel room, you reserve one for sleeping, and then you reserve one for eating, so you can just fuck it up and just lay there, and then you can just waltz on over to your clean bed and sleep in that one.
Funny.
That's the pro tip.
I always manage to eat at that little desk that's there in the hotel room. Because if I go to a hotel and there's more than one bed and I'm there for more than one night, I want to get use out of both beds. So like I'll sleep in one bed one night and the other bed the other night.
Ooh,
if we're traveling somewhere and there's 2 beds, we will always sleep in separate beds. Literally on our honeymoon, we selected an Airbnb that had 2 twin beds, and we're like, hell yeah!
My fiance would probably be about that. I'm known to snore in the middle of the night, so
it was excellent. Not going to complain about that. Owen, where can people find you on the internet if you'd like to be found on the internet?
Yeah, if you want to find me on the World Wide Web, it's The Young Knight on Instagram, and then it's The Young Knight with a 0 instead of an O on X, or on Twitter.
How dare you?
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god!
We're sorry, everybody, for this content.
It's because I took it off my home screen amidst all the Survivor 50 chaos, but then I've been searching for the app to like satiate my habit, so I've been typing in X on my phone to get it to pull it up. But anyway,
when will you be contacted for Survivor 50?
Maybe never, maybe who knows. But it has been an interesting couple days, but it's been fine. We're mostly just joking around about it, but it did send kind of a shockwave through the alum community. But yeah, The Young Knight, which is Young is my middle name. I don't know if people knew that, but yeah, that's the origin story.
Curt, where can you be found on the internet?
Best place is probably Curt Clark with 2 C's on the Instagram. It's primarily food and escape room photos. I just delved into the outer rings of the hell that is TikTok really for the first time this week. Oh boy. No, do not clap, LaTonya. I was telling
He
Haley
told
earlier,
me about it. It was intense.
Oh yeah. I now know what GRWM means. The importance of complexion maintenance, and a bunch of other good stuff. So don't find me on TikTok. Just focus on the Instagram.
LaTonya? Oh, sorry, Curt. Did you have?
No, I was going to turn over to LaTonya.
Oh, LaTonya, where can people find you?
A lot of stuff going on right now. We are recapping The Sympathizer over at Silent Podcast, which is a show where Robert Downey Jr. has given himself a permission to play all of the parts, just all of them.
That's so kind of him.
Yeah. And yet it's not even a story about white people. So I'm still like grappling with that. We'll see how it goes. But Naomi and I are covering that for Silent Podcasts. Felipe and I just launched Pop Cultured, which is the new thing that I'm doing along with Brazilian Dragon, where if you had the Versus feed from post-show recaps, then you're going to start getting podcasts from Pop Cultured over at Brazilian Dragon. And the first podcast that we did together to launch everything was about the movie Challengers, because I just don't think that I could have gone an entire week without talking about that movie. It's just very much on brand for me and everything that I care about in the world. So that was fun. And then I was on the recap kickback again with Chappelle and Mari, and we talked about the American Society of Magical Negroes.
Is that on HBO or Max?
It's nowhere
this weekend.
Is it coming?
Okay,
okay.
No, seriously, they pulled it from the theater.
What?
Yeah. Pulled from the theater for being that bad. And just really missing the mark on what is supposed to be satire. But yeah, we talked about that, and then I'm supposed to be back talking about challengers again, because I can't just do one podcast about challengers. So Chappelle and I are going to talk about that movie coming up. You can follow me on Twitter, because that's what it's called, at LK Starks. You can follow me on Instagram at Stormborn1222, and then you can follow me on TikTok at LaTonya K Starks, because that is my name. Y'all don't know what the K stands for, though. My middle name is Keontea.
Oh, I like that.
I will offer people money if they think they could spell that name.
Keyan.
Nope.
Curt, what's your middle name?
Michael.
I was hoping it would also start with a C.
No. Curtis Michael.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @strong_, and you can check out everything I am reading on my Bookstagram account at the Strong Library. Got a couple of people over from this podcast telling me they like to see what I'm reading. That's so nice. And then if you want to follow me on TikTok, that's an option at Strong Takes on TikTok. If you want to see the pasta I made that I just talked about, TikTok video, enjoy.
It's really just Haley having an amazing looking life. Honestly, just seeming like being goals, frankly, for me.
So. Yeah, I don't often show the breakdowns, the weekly breakdowns. So don't believe everything you see on social media. I'm also not a hot crier, and if I was a hot crier, maybe I would post more crying videos, but I'm not happening for me. Owen, thank you so much for joining us this week. It was so much fun. And
it was fun.
We can't wait to peer pressure you into talking to us every single season now.
Yes.
No pressure required. Like I said, one of my favorite shows, and I love that RHAP does a show for it. So happy to be here, and good to chat with y'all.
And until next. Oh, sorry, Curt. Oh, you say more stuff. No, okay.
I was just adding to the I'm glad you're on this bandwagon.
Until next time, pack your knives and go. Bye.